All right, is everybody else ready to go?
Yep.
Yep. All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm still mad that Neil Patrick Harris was so mean to Darian, because I thought that his Darian androgyny looked amazing. I totally forgot to share this, but I had, as part of my share of the way in the episode, I had found various articles and reviews, and one of them was from the AV Club, and it was from 2014 when the episode had premiered, and they basically said the same thing in that article. So it's not an unpopular opinion. I also kind of wish, because androgyny, his name Damien, I wish that he had continued on and done drag like he said he was going to, because that would have been amazing. Fun fact, one person who was involved in a makeover episode of Drag Race, actually in season 5, did continue to do drag and still does drag now.
I need to see Bianca in the bottom. I need it. I also officially Courtney. She's dead to me.
Wow.
No.
I know that's right.
I just don't. She's just mean. I just don't like how mean she is. She feels a bit like a bully.
Yeah, I don't like Courtney either.
And I think my problem with Bianca is that sometimes I kind of get that vibe from Bianca. I get it. The New Yorkers are like, that's not bullying. That's just being New York. But still not quite there. Am hoping that Bianca is in the bottom, just because I want to see it. First of all, I want to see her lip sync. Can she even lip sync? Maybe. I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe she can.
Everybody loves puppets. I'm so excited. This is the best thing that they do on the show. Timestamp.
Glory, hallelujah.
I want to 420. Do Hunter timestamp. Thank you. Sorry, I want to see them do an Avenue Q type thing.
that comment from Courtney was really neat.
Yeah, it does kind of prove John's point a little bit. Also, they're still continuing.
The
maybe
just the
Courtney
hog body. I mean, come
is
on.
mainly driving that joke right into the ground, just beating a dead horse.
Weird.
Okay, but how good is Adora's
That
impression?
is
I was just thinking it's
You
like
what?
spot
I
on.
already can't tell who is who.
Oh my god. Oh my god, that was brilliant. Oh my god.
Every time I watch this, I just laugh harder because it's so funny. The cool party.
He was nailing the voice.
Oh my god. The drug.
Oh my god. This is so good.
I love all the glitter for Darian. Appropriate.
Yeah, that's really accurate.
Yikes, this is pretty awful.
What
It
is
is
and that impersonation is not good either.
Everyone is just
I'm gonna go check the internet for some jokes. It's one of the best things ever. Look at Bianca, those teeth.
That's great.
That line is my favorite line, probably the entire season. I have 50 dresses in the same fabric.
I love the wig flopping around.
And the fake nails as teeth.
Yeah, and the wig falling off and then be like, no, it's not, because I have no problems. I'm from New York. I work all the time.
this was the best. This was the best. I mean, I wish all the mini challenges were like this.
Yes, right? That's why it's my favorite. And I there's some seasons they don't do it, and it breaks my heart because every time it's gold.
So wait, did Dela win that one?
Dela won for being Bianca.
Yeah.
Oh my god, brilliant. I mean, there were a few others that I would have been like totally fine with them getting it as well. The only one that was not good was Courtney.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, Adore has to sew again.
It always baffles me when the queens come in and they can't sew, like, and then they're surprised that they have to sew every single year.
The one thing that bothers me is that there should have been a different color, because like the the rose quartz and like the ruby shade are too close together.
Sorry, what's too close together?
So the shades they have for like that they get to pick from their jewel shades is diamond and just trying to think of what the other ones were, because there's two that are like pink and red. So one's rose quartz and the other one is like ruby, like a shade of red. So basically they look the same. And I just think there's so many like jewel shades. Like there's no sapphire.
I think there's sapphire.
There's a blue
The
one.
sapphire,
Emerald.
the sapphire. Okay, so yeah, no emerald. Like something to be a little bit different. I don't know.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, wait. I feel like emerald is a staple jewel tone that definitely could have been used.
I mean, I think Darian's right.
I'm completely
You're in a
with
competition.
Darian on that. Completely with Darian.
I don't know. I don't think it's very sportsmanlike, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever liked Darian, and I like her the least right now.
I have no problem with Darian's logic there. Darian can be mean, but like I think that the question was pretty honest. Like, why didn't you give her the one that would eliminate her quickly? Totally valid. For me, like something like Courtney making fun of Jocelyn. Oh, whoa. Sorry.
That's a bit of my side.
I mean, I just love that. Love those moments, you know, where you can kind of get to know the contestant a little bit more on an intimate level. And now Adore is like jumped up a few notches in terms of how much I like her.
This is how you were with Lorelai. You didn't really like Lorelai until she started breaking down and crying.
Yeah,
and
John,
whispering.
you love anyone who cries. That's like your thing. They have to cry.
It's more just about the vulnerability, you know, like
Sure,
I just sort of, maybe it's because I relate to it.
Cry baby. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Yeah, I'll admit it. I will say though that, you know, in regards to Rue's critique of Adore, I think it's spot on because, I mean, that the whole concept of this is that they do need to be well-rounded, like fully well-rounded. It's the reason why I do need to see Bianca performing in other things that are not just I can sew a really great outfit together. I want to see her lip sync. I need to see that because it is sort of weighted a little bit in her favor.
I agree with that, but she can't help it that she's good at everything.
But is she good at everything? I really don't know because I don't know if she can lip sync, and I don't know, like some of those challenges that Adore is saying, I'm really good at those. We're not doing enough of them. That's true, and then that means that we don't really totally get to see Bianca's full ability. I thought that Bianca was pretty poor in her rap, to be honest.
I agree with that.
Dale as a choreographer is a choice.
That no one should make. I will say it does kind of make sense because when you're doing dance things, like as a group or a team, whatever, you do want the input of the person who doesn't really do well, so we know what their level is, and so they're able to do the choreography well. You know what I mean?
And it's kind of difficult because Dale is supposed to be like captain of this choreography, and she's really stepping back. So that kind of lets everybody else feel like, oh, okay, let me put my 2 cents in here too. And then when you have too many people involved, it gets messy.
I really want Adore to do well in this challenge.
I used to like Adore, but lately she's been kind of bugging me. I think it just might be the not being able to sew thing and kind of being a little whiny.
I liked her. I didn't like her. Well, she wasn't my favorite in the beginning, but she is now.
Who is?
Adore.
Yeah. Adore has definitely become very endearing. I think to a degree has always been really enduring.
I think what I like about her is that she's a lot younger than the others, and I feel like, I don't know, I just feel kind of like protective of her a little bit. I'm like, oh, be nice to her.
Yeah, like she's a cute little baby.
Yeah.
Even like when Bianca is like being interviewed, like the melody of the way she says certain lines sounds like she's reading. Like when she's like,
I'm ready for Courtney to go home.
I kind of think the Bianca thing is just Bianca. I mean, I've watched a lot of like her live performances and other things outside of the show, and she's the same person.
same person or same performer?
Like same, like it's consistent. Like you see the same elements of the person through, and that's what I get from Bianca. Is that like I feel like her character in drag is just like a more amplified version of like who she actually is. Like that's just that's the vibe that I've always gotten from her, from just all of the other things I've seen outside of the show.
That makes
I think she's just really like quick-witted, like really smart, and always has like something funny to say.
Rue's hair looks
I
like
love
that from the back.
Rue's look. I just love it.
And I'm so happy that Bob Mackey is one of the guest judges. It's the most appropriate for like glitter and like elegance, all this. Oh, it's just perfection. I could do perhaps without the Kardashian, but that's just my personal taste.
This is going to be a disaster. Because he said, I like the last one the best, and I didn't even like it.
We have this dive bar around here that is owned by a Bobby Mackey. And it's not even the same, it's total opposite. So it's just kind of funny to be hearing that name.
Santina looks confused.
That was messy.
What was that? How Taylor hits the streets.
I'm obsessed with the Doors boots.
I was just thinking, I'm like, Elle likes those.
I love that look.
All the necklaces on Bianca is giving me Jocelyn vibes.
Yeah, but these like make sense.
Yeah, true.
I like these boots.
She looks so
She
much
looks a
like
little
Rachel
lemony
sometimes.
little lemony snickets, though, don't you think?
I love Adele's look in this one.
Oh, this is how I
Adorably.
want to look like all the time. Like, this is amazing.
adore this look is incredible.
Accounts payable.
Courtney's legs, though,
Right?
I just want to appreciate them.
I'm not getting rose quartz from that color. It's just pink.
Yeah.
I like that look.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah, this looks
I do
good.
too. I love the hair.
That's awesome. I love the Blade Runner style.
Same
not
dress,
digging
same
the
dress,
dress.
different fabric.
Yeah, I'm
Having
not
that
digging.
much glitter on me would be my worst nightmare.
I
Oh, that'd be
wasn't
my
into
dream.
that one.
Want to be covered in glitter. I'm happy with that.
I hate glitter. It's Satan's confetti.
I love Darian's look. Okay, this looks good. This looks good.
But Courtney
She
looks
has
like
a-
she just draped a piece of fabric over like a bikini.
Yeah.
Still
She
looks
has a
good
black
though.
wig on.
Still looks
has a-
good though.
She has a dark wig on.
That's true. I think that was the most gorgeous though.
I didn't like Bianca's executive look either.
She could have run a business like a brothel dressed like that.
That's exactly how I felt
True.
about Dela. That's exactly how I felt about Dela's business thing. I was just like, that just looked like a looked a little like Cruella de Vil. Yes! Yes!
Look at how happy Adore looks.
Yes!
Hey.
Come on, that feels good. Did she say taking a bathtub?
She did.
Courtney's look after they critiqued Adore was not nice. It
It
was
was
like she
rude.
was really ticked off.
Yeah, I agree. That was
Yeah, her executive. Yeah, this last one was awful.
I think that you may be able to see Bianca lip sync in this episode.
Magic Girl was funny. I like it.
I hate it. And like, it just reminds me of like in the
Same.
90s, we put jewels on stretchy fabrics. So like going to the prom was like finding a dress was awful because everything drooped, like she said, on stretch fabric. It was awful.
Her hair was beautiful though.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the collar was great on her. That dress was awful, I thought.
I agree. I agree. When she was shaking her butt, I was like, that's a really tiny little.
That was cringe.
That was a cringe moment. He complimented it, right? Because that I like that red thing. I think that thing was cool.
I think it's stunning. I love it.
Bianca.
I think part of
Bianca
the reason
in
I
the
don't
bottom.
like her is
Bianca.
'cause I don't
I need to see Bianca lip sync. I just need to see it once.
Based on her two looks tonight,
Yeah,
I
she
think she might get.
didn't do so great.
Like, I hated the thing around the shoulders. I just don't.
I'm so incredibly happy for Dor. Yikes.
That was a bad reaction. Like, I thought that her sailing through was a compliment.
Yikes.
The tone of
I
it was
love
not complimentary.
Yeah.
I
well,
love
Bianca's
the look though on I love the look on Dayla's face when she was like, yikes. Jeez, that was nasty. Did you see what she did there?
Yeah.
Like totally softened the wind on Adore.
Yeah, well, you could see her face. She was upset that they liked Adore's like performance.
Ooh, man, Courtney, hard to like.
Yeah. So, any thoughts on who's going to be in the bottom?
If it's Dayla, I'm gonna be bummed. I mean, it's Darian. I mean, there's no question about it. Like, definitely 100%.
I'm
But-
worried about Darian lip syncing against anyone else at this.
Well, yeah, I mean, Darian's a good lip syncer though. Dayla, I think Dayla, that was.
Yeah, I think Santino is defending Courtney because she's pretty. you know, and like she can
Yeah.
carry this sort of like draping fabric thing. It's like, ooh, it's fashion. But like if Darian had come out there with like just the fabric draped across a bra, then he probably would have tore her apart.
I don't
He does
know.
that,
I don't
though.
know if I agree with that.
He does that whenever Courtney does anything. Like think about the angel thing, which was cool, but he was just like, do the other queens just want to give up?
I mean,
when she did that, like,
I
you know?
actually criticized the angel. I didn't like it. I thought that
Yeah.
looked like two big styrofoam wings. I thought it looked goofy, but I actually really love this like Greek goddess type thing that she's got going on there. I think.
I mean, that was my point. Like it wasn't that great, but he was fawning over it. Like he just like,
Yay, adore!
I mean,
That costume.
that's
Oh,
awesome.
amazing. I mean, that feels good. Wait, did Marilyn do Boo Boopy Doop? Isn't that Betty Boop?
Yeah, it
that
is.
is Betty Boop.
Marilyn did though, in that I want to be loved by you.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Oh,
that.
right.
Oh.
Boo
She
Boopy
did
Doop.
it. But
Yeah,
she might have
you're right.
she might have been impersonating Betty Boop though.
Yeah.
I was really hoping Courtney would be involved.
Freaking knew it. The echo.
Rue's eye makeup is gorgeous.
I've been thinking the same thing. I keep staring at it. I'm like, please show Rue again. Let her blink again so I can see
Yeah.
this eye makeup.
I'm kind of bored with both of them right now.
Yeah, using a lot of their arms.
I was thinking that too. Like, I'm not feeling this.
That's what you do when you can't dance. You use your arm.
Yeah, there's a lot of step touching going on. It's not really a performance.
Well, there's differences in lip sync performances, and some queens like they're emoting more and feeling the song more than being like a dance performance.
Yeah, this seems more focused on like the lip sync and less on the dance.
I wouldn't tip either one
Plus,
of them.
I don't know how you dance to this song.
You can dance,
Man, this is a real boring lip sync.
right? You can dance to this. I harshly disagree with that.
No, it's true. I'm just saying that there's different styles of lip
Oh, no,
sync.
yeah.
Not every queen does like the Laganja jump splits.
I feel like this song just requires a lot of jumping.
Yeah, it's not a. I don't think it's a great lip sync song, to be honest. Not to.
I was
not
thinking
to-
the same thing. I don't like the choice.
Yikes.
Yeah,
You can
not to
just
diss our Queen
walk
Kelly, but
and
I mean, either of them could go home. Either of them, really.
I can't say I saw that coming.
Man, oh man, I really love Dayla. I really love that queen.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad I didn't say my prediction at the beginning because I would have been wrong.
Yeah, I really thought Kayla was gonna win.
Yeah,
completely.
at the beginning, I was thinking that I bet Dayla's going to be here for the finals because she's very middle of the road, and usually middle of the road means that you're going to excel in the end, but I would have been wrong.
I really thought Darian was gonna go home.
Me too. Dayla wrote a lot on that mirror. I wonder what.
I was gonna say, what
honestly
is
would-
on it?
I honestly wouldn't have been sad to see Darian go home. I prefer Dayla over Darian.
Dayla's long lipstick message was very intentional, as she talks about it in Untucked, about how it's like she just wanted to write a long message because it would take Darian a long time to clean it.
Oh, that's funny. I mean, it was a novel of a message. That
How many-
episode was the best episode of the season, I think.
I agree.
It was so fun, with the exception of that lip sync at the end, which was pretty boring, but still had a little bit of thrill to it because you knew that both of them were like, there was no real clear winner. But just in general, the episode was just a really exciting, and that adore win was just,
I loved it.
it was just awesome. It was just awesome.
I have Bendela Crumb's message in my browser if you want me to read.
Please.
Yes.
Dear Top 4, how's it going? I'm doing pretty good. Sometimes you have to have Mama Roo yell at you a bunch of times before it sinks in. I guess I never reached that number of times. Darian. I knew the second I was up against you, I was out the door. You get it, lady. I wish you all the luck in the world and only harbour enough resentment to write a long, pointless message that you will have to clean and clean and clean and clean. But for real though, you girls are my heroes. BDLC.
That's funny.
That sounds good.
How many tubes of
Love it.
lipstick was that?
Yeah, I wonder if she like got through a lot of.
There's a lot of lipstick in it too, but it was probably just.
If anyone wants to come up for the post-show discussion, by the way, just raise your hand.
So I'm in the minority for my thoughts on Adore.
Let's hear it.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was just saying I gather that I'm in the minority for it. There's just something. I mean, I get that she's young, and at the beginning I actually did really kind of like her and I was rooting for her, but I think now I'm just kind of tired because I just feel like there's a lot of, I don't know, kind of whining.
She reminds me of of a good friend of my oldest daughter's. She really does. She reminds me of Danielle, my daughter Danielle's friend Jessica. So I'm kind of rooting for her just because I think she looks a lot like somebody. And same type of personality as.
I feel like I would just like to see. I mean, I guess I'm seeing a little bit of growth, but I feel like I'd like to see maybe some like more. I don't know if maturity is the right word, but I don't know.
I mean, I think that her sort of immature bit is partially an act. I mean, the like kind of dumb ditzy thing seems to be like, hey, I get it. I don't have quite the chops of this person. I don't have that. I don't, right? But I can make this sort of naive young person thing. I can actually really make this fun. And I feel like that's what she's always doing. She is clearly a really good performer and way better like on the spot than you might actually think. Her puppet show was awesome. Her ability to mimic Dela's voice was uncanny. And it tells me that she's way more aware and talented at what she's doing there. And some of it is a bit of a character that she understands that doing this character sort of to the extreme is going to make her stand out. And it certainly does. I find her extremely charming on those interview clips and very, and if it is, a performance, to a degree, like there's a bit of a character that she's doing there. She's also doing it so naturally, like it just feels so genuine, which is my critique on Bianca, because I don't find that character that she's playing to sound particularly genuine. There's a melody to the way that she sometimes ends sentences on those interview clips that really like sounds like she's doing a one-woman show in the interview clip. And I don't get that from Adore. From Adore, I get that she's just like locked into this persona that she's sort of created for herself. And I think that it works because I think that persona, she understands that there's a lot in that persona that is her, and that she doesn't have the strengths of some of these other people. I'm all for Adore. Like I'm so into Adore. She's the one I'm rooting for. Like straight up, that's it. Like going into these final four, that's all I'm thinking is Adore.
But I feel like she could have those same kind of strengths. But like you said, I feel like it's this character. I think that's maybe what I'm missing is like, there's just too much of like this sort of like insecurity that I think she's really playing on. That I think that she actually is really good, but she almost like dumps herself down.
Totally.
I
think she is doing that, but I think that she's doing it strategically. She got me. I got really emotional today because of her performance. So it got me. It didn't get you. So you're seeing through it. But for me, it works, And even though I recognize that there's a lot of acting there, I do think that she should be probably better I think she should be more well-rounded if she's going to actually win this competition. That's what made her win tonight so exciting, because I thought, wow, you aren't good at sewing and you won a freaking sewing challenge, and your costumes were they were a cut above the rest, in my opinion.
I think you made a good point, Stacy, and it's just a reminder that Adore has experience being on a reality show before and playing to the audience and getting and developing a fan base based off of how she was on American Idol. So I do think that part of what we see is strategic.
Totally. I like it because I can recognize that even though it's strategic, it just feels really well done. I don't see cracks in her performance personally.
Yeah, and she has like the self-deprecating humor, which like makes it turns it from like whining and complaining to something like more funny and relatable for people who are insecure or whatever.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for that kind of humor.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so you recognize that Adore might be playing into this character and doing it well, but because Bianca isn't showing that vulnerable side of her character or whatever, that's what's turning you off.
That, and also I think that her performance is a little canned looking. Like there was one specific spot, I can't remember the line, where she ends the interview segment was like, something, something, something. And I was like, wow, that sounded very red. Like it really sounded like being read right off of a cue card, and I've heard Bianca do that several times. that sounds like a stand-up bit, or that sounds like a one-woman show. Whereas what Adore is doing sounds, I absolutely agree. It's totally a character. She's super savvy, really smart, knows how a reality show works, but is doing a good job of hiding it.
We talked before. I think we started the series about how like reality shows will feed them lines sometimes and just have them read things off of,
Yes,
cue card and stuff. And I feel like maybe that could be what you're picking up on.
Totally.
With those
but
parts
I
of
think
the-
that they're, you can get a line fed to you and make it. I mean, that's sort of the whole concept of an actor in general, right? You can get a line given to you and make it sound utterly natural in yours, and you can get a line given to you and make it sound like you just read it.
Right. Maybe she didn't approve those lines, so she was like, I'm just gonna read it like I'm reading it.
maybe so. But I mean, I'm only giving you my feelings based on what I'm seeing.
Right.
And look, my critiques on Bianca also go further than that. I mean, I have not seen her in the bottom, and that the only important thing there is that I just don't know how she performs in a lip sync well. Like I'm not getting a good sense of it. Yes, she was lip syncing today in the group challenge or in the group thing, but it was kind of hard to like judge. Everybody was sort of lip syncing together. I have seen her, like in the rap one, like I just like was completely unimpressed. And Adore was, of course that was like her sweet spot in terms of her abilities. And so I haven't seen enough. And I think that Adore's criticism actually makes some sense, while Rue's right. You need to be well-rounded in order to, expect to take home a prize that says you are the top queen. And in that way, Adore absolutely needs to step up and can't just be like, you're only good at those things that you're really great at. But the flip side of that is that the challenges that Adore is saying, we're getting so many of them and they're not my particular strength and I don't get to show you my strength. The flip side of that argument is that a lot of those challenges are playing into some other people's strengths, and most notably Bianca's strengths. And we don't get to see Bianca performing as much in the way that Adore has strengths as I think we should, if we're going to say that she's our top queen, deserving of $100,000.
There's also now only one regular episode left.
That's crazy. So there's four of them. And that means that, because I don't really know what that means, that must mean that like the final episode is something not normal.
Well, there's the next episode's one of the regular episodes where the same format we've seen before. Then the second to last episode is kind of like a clip show, like it's a recap. You see never before seen footage, and Rue breaks down some references and moments and things that were discussed in the show, and there's usually like interviews and things with queens from the past. And then the final episode is the reunion and the crowning, and it's live, or like it was live, so it's completely different than anything we've seen so far.
Oh, cool. Wow. So then that means that in the next episode, and the crowning means that it's a live show with two contestants that are now up against each other. Kind of like the live Survivor finale usually has I think always has two people and they read the results and then one person gets the prize. Is that the way it is here?
I don't want to spoil anything.
You don't want to spoil it. Okay, forget it. Don't worry. But I think I get where you're going with this, which is we've got 3 more episodes we got 3 more episodes, 2 of which are actually like competition based, but we have 4 people. So that means that there is going to have to be something a little different in terms of how we get those 4 people down to either 2 or 1 or whatever.
So who are our picks for top 3 right?
Whew. Top 3 is Adore. Bianca. Ugh. I mean, I don't know. I can't.
I think Courtney will be the last one, even though
I don't
want
Yeah,
her to
I don't want to have to say it, but I think that that's probably it. You know,
Yeah.
it's funny how much Courtney has really, and here's the thing, and this is sort of I guess it's sort of a response to your comment, Elle, about Santino and his feelings about Courtney. You may be right about that, and here's a good reason why that could support what you're saying. We've gotten to know Courtney through carefully edited footage of her throughout this series. So we've developed an opinion about who she is and taste for her, right? But admittedly, I was really into Courtney early on, and I'll be honest that I was largely influenced by her looks. So Santino doesn't see any of that, any of the things that we're seeing, all of the like cattiness, the nasty comments, and so maybe so. I still defend that last outfit. I think that last outfit was cool, and I think that it felt like Greek goddess, and I think that there's a place for that on a runway. But I think that Courtney's been edited to be the villain. Like, there's no question about it. Like, the last half of this season, like almost any shot of Courtney has not given us a sliver of real humanity. It's always been like an attack, a nasty comment, even to people who like admire her. And so I don't know how much of that is just the producers needing to have a villain, in order to keep the show interesting, and how much of it is really her. But going into the finals, you sort of feel like probably because Darian is the weaker of the two, but you do kind of go in feeling like the villain is going to probably be there at the very end.
Yeah, I feel like the producers do that on purpose. They try and keep the villains on for as long as possible, just to keep the drama going and to keep viewers coming in.
Yeah. And you know what? That's probably also more of a reason to think that Courtney's going to be in that top 3, because they're going to want that sense of tension, like this person who has the ability to use her looks, and but I don't know, she's also going in now with this like we're all feeling bored by her. I don't know if that's great. But also, Darian also has lost a lot of her luster for me. A lot of the like infighting between her and Dela kind of soured me on her.
I'm definitely not a Darian fan at all. I don't like her attitude.
It's interesting too, because when this originally aired, Dayla was a massive fan favorite, and her going home, especially to Darian, caused a huge uproar, and fans were insanely upset.
Oh yeah,
And
I mean, I can see.
there was a lot of people like I mean, Darian got the brunt of like the internet hate for sending the fan favorite home. It was pretty rough. I think like I kind of originally felt that way watching it because I felt the same way towards Dayla, but I've got to say, like, rewatching it, I like Darian a lot more. And I think there's a lot of, I think it was, we talked about this before, there was a lot of like underrated moments with Darian, and she's not being edited the same way. Like, I feel like she could have been edited in a more positive light and showcasing all of her little quips and everything that would have made her more likable.
100%. And I mean, I think that, like, definitely knowing now that Dayla was a fan favorite, and that's not surprising at all, because I would say that Dayla has been my favorite queen since the beginning. I've always sort of had Dayla pretty high up there, and now at this point I could say for sure, had I watched this when it was airing, I would be in that whole fandom of Dayla lovers and would have been really upset, and I would have been angry at Darian because, or not, I mean, I would have had those same feelings towards Darian, because that's the way that Darian has been presented to us in the second half of this season. Darian was just constantly on Dayla, you know, and if you're a Dayla fan, that's gonna get under your skin.
Yeah, Darian's definitely soured for me. I did like him when he first came on, but now I'm not a Darian fan at all.
Elle, I'm curious, in other seasons, like, how common is it to have somebody who might be more like plus sized to be on the show?
Usually, unfortunately, in most seasons, there's like maybe one. There's been an issue with the show, and that's why it's like that's why I kind of mentioned the Santino thing, and that's also just from my experience watching this show, because the previous seasons and everything, I feel like Santino was really harsh on any queen that was even slightly larger. And that's why I feel like, you know, there's some obvious like leeway given to Courtney, because she's going to look good in anything, you know, and that's just sort of like, it's unfair that I feel like people are kind of letting her walk away with that, especially someone like Santino. I feel like Michelle is really good at calling him out, and I feel like she's become in later seasons like a really more vocal, I'm trying to think of like the right wording, but she's been really more vocal as a judge to not just let queens get away with relying on their body, so to speak. And
like an advocate. Seems like she's an advocate for.
Yeah, there's really been a shift too, and I think that like there's been like plus size queens in later seasons that have had absolutely killer fashion, like absolute fashion queens, and I think part of the good thing that happens in later seasons is that Santino's not a judge anymore, because he was kind of a negative impact in that regard. It's kind of a sensitive subject, and it's something that still comes up because there are, I guess this could be, no, I'm not going to say it. I was going to cut myself off because I was like, no, this could be a spoiler, and it's definitely a spoiler. It's something we can talk about like later, but just kind of, it's a very sensitive topic within the fandom, because there's been a lot of negativity and a lot of harshness directed towards like the bigger queens in general, and it's become a topic of conversation a lot more recently with some of the more recent seasons. But yeah, it's something we can talk about later.
Well, Michelle.
Yes, sorry.
Michelle,
I would.
oh, sorry. No, go on.
Oh no, I was just going to thank Elle for that. That I'd like to talk about it later, and I was going to apologize. So I didn't mean to get into spoiler territory.
No worries.
I'm
Yeah,
trying
Michelle.
to tread carefully because I said I know everything about this season and all the other seasons, and I said I don't want to spoil things, so I have to like keep myself zippered. I've been messaging Megan, and we've been having our conversation behind the scenes because we don't want to ruin the experience for anybody.
Michelle pointing out Courtney's little butt shake there at the end in the jean shorts was very funny.
Yeah, my favorite part was definitely when Courtney was like, "Well, I was wearing bamboo hoop earrings."
She's
And
like,
Michelle was
bamboo
"No,
earrings does
bamboo
not a
earrings
banshee
is
man.
not a banshee girl." Right? Exactly.
Don't forget to harvest, by the way.
Yeah, the only banshee on that stage was Adore.
I don't really understand the bungee thing. I don't think it's a thing in
Thank
the
you
UK.
for saying that because I have no idea what it is either. I'm gonna go with
Like, I assume it's some kind of like street look, like a certain type of person, but I don't really know anything about it.
So I just looked it up, and it says banshee is a term originating in the house system and ball culture of New York City, which describes someone seen to be quote unquote from the hood or embodying an urban tough swagger. The term is mostly associated with New York City and may be Nuyorican in origin.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
so like New York, Puerto Rican. is
Yeah.
something?
Yeah. New York, Puerto Rican, like ball culture, street. Definitely not what Courtney was giving. Courtney was giving was giving basically like grunge. You know, she was giving Pacific Northwest basically.
Do they
Yeah,
still have
thank you
this
for that,
as like
Regina.
a challenge in the later season?
Sorry, what was that?
I said, do they still have this as like, was this like a one-off category for this season, or is it like a reoccurring?
The ball challenge?
The banshee specific.
It's appeared a couple of times in reference, but it hasn't been like specifically this. They haven't done anything that was the same as this glitter ball. Like they've done other balls with other categories, but they haven't used the same. Banshee, the banshee category is also one that we would have seen in Paris is Burning for people who watched that documentary. So that's why we also saw executive realness in that one as well. So a lot of the categories that will get used are lifted like directly from the ball scene, or their plays on the categories that would be seen in like especially like the New York ball scenes. Did anybody have any favorite looks?
Adore.
Adore's executive realness.
Yeah, I really liked her executive look.
I was thinking, I'm like, I wear that to work. It
My
was
favorite,
relatable.
my favorite was her her last book. I'll call it her
Me
replicant.
too.
If you know anything about Blade Runner,
And
I would call
I
that her
loved
Daryl Hannah replicant book.
I loved it so much because she created it and she was so nervous about it and it turned out great.
It turned out so good. And also, you know, that was also a really great critique or comment, which was just not only did her outfits look awesome, she embodied them in a way that nobody else did, really. Like, I mean, even that, like, you know, and she like that last look where she came up and she like kind of like did that weird thing with her arms, you know, where like the little string bead was between them, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, she really was like just in it, you know. I mean, you know, she is, as we've mentioned, a pro. And part of her shtick is, I'm kind of dumb. I'm not, you know, I'm sort of naive, you know, which then when she pulls off what she can do and what she knows she can do, it's all the more impressive. So that's part of her strategic, you know, her character that she plays behind the scenes. But it works. And at least it works for me.
I find her to be a very good impressionist. Like when she was doing Anna Nicole Smith or when she was doing Dela, like she was so spot on. But even when she's playing characters, like every time she was on the runway tonight, or like when she was doing the rap battle, she's able to like embody characters really, really well, and impersonate, you know, people. I think she's really talented.
Yeah, majorly talented. I mean, I'm rooting for her to go to the end. I'm rooting for her to win. I feel like she's not going to win because I sort of feel this swell of love for Bianca, which tells me that probably that's the winner. But I hope that she wins. I will say that the scene where Bianca is legit explaining to her how to fix the dress was a cool moment for me and my feelings about Bianca, for sure. That moment felt pretty real.
Yeah, she's been having a lot of moments like that this season, especially with Trinity, but Trinity's gone now. So.
Yeah.
And Rue even commented it on one of the when I can't remember what episode it was, but he was like, a lot of, you know, you've been known to help a lot of people in this competition. Who's helping you? And then that was when she made the clip of, you know, they're all helping me by being so terrible. But
yeah, I just can always feel like I usually can feel like on some of those other ones that she was helping other people. I can always sort of feel her aware of the camera, and this one I didn't feel that way. That's the only difference. But I know I've noticed that she's helping people. I think that's cool. I just don't with Adore. I don't feel her aware of the camera, and that just, you know, I mean, I understand that she is doing a persona, you know, I understand that, but I don't see it, and so that's why I find it to be just so good.
But really, I want to watch all of the queens from this season do the puppet challenge because I just think it would be the funniest thing. Like, I almost want to see them do it multiple times in a season because it's so funny. I mean, sure, that would be overkill, but it's such a shame that we only got to see the final 5.
Oh yeah, and it was such a good challenge, and it was the best mini challenge of the entire season, and it goes back to what I've been talking about earlier about how those mini challenges just were nothing. They were just like they just felt like an opportunity to do a quick music video. I didn't, half the time didn't have any idea who did what to even know whether they were worthy of winning or losing or whatever. And this one was just the perfect example of a great mini challenge, similar to the very first episode where everyone was jumping into the foam, which was also a really awesome mini challenge. But the rest of the season, I think the mini challenges were pretty miserable. Most of them.
I agree completely. They've been boring.
Except the reading challenge.
The reading challenge. The reading challenge was pretty good. Yeah.
I really only remember that because Laganja was so horrible at it.
Yeah, the reading challenge was pretty fun, and Laganja was pretty bad. Yeah. Darian was great in that challenge. That was the one where we really kind of saw like, wow, Darian is very good at reading.
I'm trying so hard not to say so much because there's so much that I want to say, and I'm like, I can't say it. I can't talk about that. Can't talk about that yet. Can't talk about that. I'm making all these mental notes and like actual notes of things that I'm like, okay, find time to talk about this. Find time to talk about that. I feel like the post-show discussion for the finale is going to cover a lot of topics.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna go into the Discord.